Hey, Lifehouse community, my inner guru community, thank you for being here. So Travis Cox couldn't be on today's call, so it's going to be me and you. All right, so I want to tune in to you and get a feel of where you're at. If you got any questions, now's the time to jump on. I'm going to be looking real time here and up for tuning into you. Okay, so what I will say with our community here this last week is I have seen more authentic personal sovereignty show up, which has been awesome. People really claiming their own stake in their lives, jumping in the driver's seat, navigating their lives from their own internal navigation system. So it's been super fun to watch. I've been hearing people reference their own inner guru as well. Throughout the week, which is really neat to hear, and them just stopping and asking, what does my inner guru tell me? What's my innate saying to me? And they're hearing a yes or a no. Those answers are always available for us. Whenever we tune in, whenever we look within, if we give ourselves a moment just to stop and tune in, we're going to hear it, a yes or a no. You know what your yeses feel like. You know what your nos feel like. Trust yourself. Okay, and the other thing we can do is ask ourselves, what is the highest version of ourselves in this moment? Hey there, Debbie. Hi there, Heather Lynn. How you doing? So I was just sharing with everybody, Debbie, that Travis Cox is not able to be here on our call today. And so here's the chance. If you got questions, you go ahead and post those questions. We'll go ahead and answer those. So we're going to make it real personal to you and intimate with you. I did want to let you know that Arnaud Bernier, my dear friend and one of my mentors for sure, he's going to be on an Innate interview this Sunday. And off the top of my head, I believe that's going to be 9. We'll post that later today though. So something you can watch for. That's going to be super exciting. He's going to have a ton of wisdom for us, and he's excited about the My Inner Guru program too, and excited about the vision we have for it. So that's exciting. So lots of new things happening in the My Inner Guru world. We've been working away at creating the program, which has been, I don't want to call it a lot of work, but certainly a lot of intention with it. Donald Epstein says, we get where we are in our lives through, in his world, it's like 20% inspiration and 80% perspiration. And I'd certainly agree that as well, that there's a lot of kind of elbow grease that goes into these sorts of things. So Travis isn't able to be on the call today, and I want to make it open to you guys. So if you got any questions, you go ahead and ask. All right, so type it in. We're here to listen. And what's it been like for you tuning into your own inner guru? What insights have you been learning? How's that helped you navigate in your own life? All right, and really this is what's going on today. So if you don't have any questions, we're going to hold it up short. All right, but I do want to just thank you guys all for being part of this. This is awesome. And I'm seeing the more that we connect to my inner guru, the more we tune inwards to our own navigational system, the more we slow ourselves down, I see that the field is really developing. That is more and more available for more people. Okay, and that's going to happen as we continue to build both the program, the community, the Facebook community as well. And the more we practice these skills that we're teaching, that it's going to be more and more available. And people who are starting with the program now or starting with the concept are picking it up so much faster. So this is technology that's really available to everybody. And for whatever reason in our Western world, and I think it's global as well, we've been far more interested and convinced that it's more appealing to look outside of ourselves and try and solve our problems, that our solutions really are sourced outside of ourselves. And we know that to be not true, that when we go within and take care of ourselves on the inside, that's really where the juice is. Good morning, Leah. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the call. And Mr. Ravi, thanks for being on board and being here as well. So I want to hear from you guys. Have you been using your inner guru? Have you been tuning in? And in what ways have that been helping you navigate your life? What are the subtleties that you're picking up? Okay, you can throw that in the comment bar. I want to hear from you. Okay, it's simpler than we think, both writing the comments, but also tuning into our inner guru as well. You know what your yeses are, you know what your nos are. I think it's just a matter of taking a moment and going within and asking the questions and finding out, you know, what is right for me? And then really trusting yourself. You know, when you do get a yes or a no, trusting yourself to take the next forward step. It's one thing to listen, the next thing is to follow through with it, right? And to take action on it. So that's the invitation. So how do you attune to the wisdom within? You know, well, I believe that we're always attuning to something. You know, we can be attuning to our pain body. We can be attuning to our fears. We can be tuning to our ego, okay? Or we could also be tuning into our wisdom within. So what's the difference? Well, I think our focus and attention is a big thing. You know, the posturing of our spine, the alignment of our spine, it really changes the energy frequency and what we're focusing on. Okay, so Leah, it's been supportive. So it has been supporting the support I already received, which confirms and adds the road we are paving. Awesome, excellent. So it's complimenting, Leah, what you already know to be true. That's great, Leah. Debbie, yesterday I woke with a very sore back. Normally I would have rested through the day, and instead, I can't read all this on my phone. That's awkward. All right, I'm able to read 3/4 of your comment, Debbie. So I'm seeing a change in behavior, that you handled your pain differently. Awesome, excellent. You know, we got choices all the time. How do we deal with things, right? Pain is really an invitation to make some change, right? To make some change within ourselves and our bodies. So what is your inner guru telling you? What changes do you need to make today? Right? And I'd love to hear that in the comment bar. Write down one thing that you know you can make today, one change that you know you can make today. Right? What's your inner guru asking for you from today? Okay? So we're going to bring it up together with that. I want to hear one thing as we finish up. Oh, any feedback? I'm going to read Heatherlynn's comment here. Any feedback to discern innate versus my ego wants to hear and tricks me into thinking. It's aligned. Hey, isn't that a good practice for sure? And so the question is around the tricks to listen to innate versus ego. Well, that's something you're going to have to practice with for sure. I know innate feels different in my body. I feel a resting, I feel a relaxation. I also feel a centering with it as well. When I'm in my ego or referencing myself from my ego, I'm very rarely in my body. I'm more in my mind. I'm more referencing myself from like past or future is typically where I'm going with ego. Whereas when I'm connected with innate, there is an attunement. I feel a settling within myself, almost like a oneness with myself. It just feels yes. It's not always going to feel comfortable, because there are times our inner guru is going to lead us through walls, through challenges that, you know, might be sticky points for us. But I certainly know when I'm in my head, my ego, I'm thinking past, I'm thinking future. I'm not in the present and not connected in the moment. Okay, Leah asked something about make it productive, more time in nature. Awesome, excellent. Debbie, today is a random act of kindness day, so the sky's the limit. Awesome, excellent. Your inner guru loves to give. Absolutely. You know, this is the best way for energy management, right? We think energy management that we need to, if we're low energy, that we need to kind of hoard it, bring it in, manage it, where the opposite is true, where the more you give, the more energy you give, the more you connect with others, the more it flows. It's the nature of the universe, all right? Energy begets more energy. When we give to others, we're going to have more. It's going to bring more juice for us. All right, Peter, thank you for joining us, Peter. Excellent. You're tuning in from the interior BC. Our hearts are with you, brother, and thanks for finding resource here with the My Inner Guru program, and know that we're here for you, all right? So you can connect with us anytime. We'd love to support you in any way we can. So Peter, today we're asking, as you tune into your inner guru, what is your innate wanting from you? What do you want today? What's really needed for today? What is the highest version of yourself? What's the expression of the highest version of yourself today? Hello, Himanshu. How can we stop ego from, Leah asks, how can we stop ego from taking over in stressful situations? Yeah, absolutely. So you want to know that ego is doing its job in stressful situations. The mind is just doing what it does, right? And so in stress situations, we go into stress response, and our ego is looking to protect itself, to survive the moment. And so recognize, number one, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So number two is, the most important thing is to deal with the stressors. Because if you're in a stress response, it's going to be impossible for you to connect with innate. It just is, okay? It's not going to happen. So number one is you got to reset your stress response. That's where SRI, meditation, breath work, exercise, just sitting still, connecting with your spine is going to be your number one first step. Always, always, always. If you're not centered, if you're in a spin, trying to connect with innate and find direction in those moments just isn't going to happen. So your first step is always to reconnect with your I am presence. Okay, so it's like returning to home base, home frequency. Then once you've found your home base frequency, then you can ask your inner guru, what's my next step? What do I need from here? Okay, but you definitely have to recognize, okay, I'm in a stress response. Having that awareness, first step, right? Most people go into stress response and they're spinning in stress response for hours, days, weeks perhaps, unknowingly, and they're in that spin trying to solve the problem in that spin. You know, Einstein's quote that you can't solve a problem from the same level that you created it. Well, this is true in regards to us dealing with our stress. If we're in a stress response, we just simply cannot manage ourselves. We've got to deal with the stress first, find home base, find our I am presence, and then from there move outwards. Hey, Jeevy, nice for you to join us. I hope you're enjoying Vancouver. I hear a big transition for you. And Rachel, nice to have you, Rachel. So today we're exploring My Inner Guru. It's just me, Dr. Travis couldn't make it today, so I'm making it as personal as I can to you guys and really being of service. We've had some great questions pop up so far, which is awesome. And thanks for your engagement. You know, I've been seeing more and more people in the community really referencing their own inner guru, their own inner intelligence. And I got to tell you, this last week in the practice has been one of the more inspiring weeks of service for me, honest to goodness. And what made it so was seeing so many people come in and really step into what I call their personal sovereignty, really stepping into owning their own life, being in the driver's seat of their own life. It was so inspiring for me. It was like I was working alongside another whole individual. Like I was a whole being, they were a whole being, and we were working together as a team to help them move forward. Whereas in the past, sometimes I was finding that people were coming in, but they were looking too much to me to try and solve their problems, right? And that just creates an imbalance right away, and a place where people aren't in a full state of power. And so seeing people come in, really claiming, wanting to do the work, they were lying down on the tables, they were doing SRI before I asked them to do it. You know, they were really engaged in the process and realizing that ultimately they're their own doctor, right? You are your own doctor. You're your own best medicine, right? You have the answers within you. Sure, I might be a guide by the side. I might offer some guidance or some ideas or suggestions along the way. But at the end of the day, you've got to put it in place. You've got to trust what you're hearing, and then you've got to take action from there. So I've had a few other comments and questions. Let me just back up. I'm going to pick up on these. Leah, thank you. So glad to have started learning all this from you. A new tool bag to use. Absolutely, that's what we're giving people, is tool bags. Debbie Tiller. Take yourself to somewhere you love. Visualize it while taking big breaths. It only takes a minute, and isn't that the truth? Hey, Debbie, when we get at this, when we really start doing the work, it doesn't take a long time. It just takes the presence and the practice, right? And breath, connection, presence to what is oh so important. Maheen jumps in the conversation. Maheen asks, how do we know we are connected to innate? Are there any indications or signs we are on the right direction? Right? Well, this is it's a repeated question that we hear from, a lot of people here, and also myself as well. And what is the right path? Right? And ultimately, I think all roads do lead to heaven. I think all roads, if we're following them, we're tuning into them and doing our best and learning with them, I think it's less a question of whether we're on the right path or not. I think it's more about the practice and just staying in tune. A coach of mine, he was once asked, he said, how do we know if the goals we're setting are ego-based or if they're innate-based? He said, his response was quite interesting. He said, what's more important is who we become along the way. It's the practice along the way. So if you're doing the practices, if you're tuning in, if you're going within, I think that's much more important than thinking if we got it right or wrong. Right or wrong is coming more from the mind, okay, versus doing the work, tuning in. Just trust yourself. Trust that life is bringing you in the direction you need to go. And if you just keep going with that, I think that's going to be a more successful than really getting in our head like school-based, whether we got it right or not, or A+ or B+ on the grade or not. But as you practice it, you definitely will find there are times where your ahas, your hits, your likes, your feelings here are going to start to line up, and you're going to start to see the flow. Okay, and the flow is definitely an indicator that, hey, we're starting to line up with our internal forces with the greater forces on the external. So I think to back up, Maheen, this would be a good thing for you to track, is when are you in the flow? Okay, when do we start to see synchronicity? Synchronicities is essentially the way I see it is like God winking at us saying, hey, keep going, you're heading in the right direction. Right? So watch for those things. When are you in the flow? When are you hitting synchronicities? These are indicators that, I'm tuning in, I'm on the right track. Okay? Peter asks, how do you find your inner guru when you are so lost? Excellent. Well, I mean, this is true, right, Pete? Sometimes that we do end up in a really tough place and we can feel really lost. And you know what? There's wisdom with wherever we are. If we're in a really dark place, it's in those dark and tough times that we can really do the deepest work. If you look at the rhythms that are the different states in a forest, there's the valley in a forest, and then there's also the mountaintop as well. In the valley is where the richest vegetation is. Okay, on the mountaintop, there's actually not a lot that lives up there. And so the same is true within our human process as well. It's in the low periods, the tough times, that we can really do the deepest amount of work. So Peter, number one is I want you to trust that wherever you are is perfect. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay, and by thinking that we're somewhere where we're not supposed to be can lead us in the direction of kind of dissociation, or non-acceptance, judgment, which can be really tough, and it's going to be an energy drain, okay? Rather than shifting our focus to seeing, okay, this is where I am, this is a really tough time, I'm not feeling really comfortable with this, for sure, I'm feeling really lost. What is the opportunity in this? So I asked that, Peter, with where you are right now, what is the opportunity in this? Okay? It's amazing whenever I ask this question, people get it right away. It's like, oh my goodness, it's to develop more independence or to have time to really go within. I've been so busy with other people, now I've really got some time for myself. I don't know what it is for you, but I know that there's an opportunity in every situation. All right, there's an opportunity for us to really get the most out of whatever experience we are in. So that's the invitation, Peter, is to trust wherever you are is perfect, okay? And we really need to lose ourselves to find ourselves, right? If we're consistent, steady Eddie, and we're totally set on our path and who we think we are, there's really not a lot of room for growth or change, right? But it's when we lose ourselves, when life takes us in a different direction, there's an opportunity for transformation there. So I invite you to go within and to see, what is the opportunity here? What's really wanting to change? And I've known in my life, I've gone through a couple of periods where I definitely felt lost. I felt in some dark places. And, through those, I've had some incredible insights, things that I've pulled out, understandings about myself that have been hugely valuable. They weren't always comfortable, though, that's for sure. All right. Hello, Kate. Nice to have you join. Hey, Kate, so Travis wasn't able to make it on our call today, so we're doing a real-time conversation here with our community, which has been very interactive. It's been awesome. We've been getting lots of questions. Heather Lynn asks, love it. Here are my takeaways. Practice the practice. Yeah, trust the process. And goodness, I can't read the rest of it on my cell phone. Let me see if I can bring this up on my computer. Anyways, I can read part of what Heather Lynn's saying for sure. So here's the deal. Practice, takeaway, practice the practice, absolutely. We can learn the practice, right? And I'm really good for this, right? Because I'm constantly writing and teaching and creating programs and everything, but it's the practice, practicing the practice. That's where the juice is, right? And so it's like, today, practice the practice. Okay, sit in meditation, use your breath. Close your eyes, go inwards. Notice, what are you feeling, right? Being aware of our internal state. Are we in a fight or flight response? Are we stress mode? Are we in a more relaxed state? Breathe, touch, feel, love. Absolutely, right? These are basics that we work with. They sound simple, and they work, okay? Simple is truth. Complicated is interesting, and simple is truth, right? And so the more simple, the more fundamental, and more we can get to real truth, it's going to work. It's going to be sustainable. Leah asks, press the see more at the end of the comments to expand the comment. I'm not sure if I can do that on my cell phone, actually, but anyways, that's great. Okay, so, hey, that was pretty interactive. Kate, do you have any questions for me today or for the community? As you're asking the questions, I want you to know this is not Dr. Norm being the guru here. We really want to look at this as being a community, right? And then we're all learning together, we're growing together, and ultimately it's about you taking whatever tidbits of information that you're getting from me, from the books you're reading, from the videos you're watching, but then needing to assimilate it within yourself, digesting it, making sense of it, and then taking action from there. Okay, but really this is just, me as another bit of information, but at the end of the day, you got to take that inward, you got to figure it out for you. All right, I've tried to focus. Okay, so I'm going back to Peter here. I've tried to focus, but I feel so empty inside. Okay, so feel the emptiness right now then. Right, and so that's this is what I was saying earlier, is that wherever we are is perfect. We're right where we need to be. Right? And so if feeling empty is where you're at, Peter, then feel empty. There are times in life where we're going to feel empty. We're going to feel maybe drained. We're going to feel alone. We're going to feel abandoned. We're going to feel, any of these. They're all human emotions. They're all human experiences. And somewhere along the line, we've decided that there's good experiences and bad experiences, right? And the good ones are what we should experience, and the bad ones we shouldn't experience. And if we're feeling the bad ones, then there's something wrong with us. And if we're feeling the good ones, then there's something right with us, right? And that whole model brings us to so much, what would be the word for that? Disappointment, confusion, okay? Self-judgment, right? And so the practice is to be with what is. And if you can be with what is, it will start to change. There's a paradox in healing, okay? Healing is paradoxical. And what I mean by that is that whenever we can fully be with what is, and we can feel it, we can feel the experience of it, the energy of it, we can feel it inside of our body without a story, and just experience it, it starts to change, or at least our relationship with it starts to change, okay, which is hugely powerful. What we resist persists, okay? When we resist something, when we judge it, when we try and push away or move away from it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? So what is the opportunity in feeling empty? And I'm still speaking with Peter. What's the opportunity in feeling empty? Right? Well, I know at times in my life I can feel so full that I don't have room for anything, right? I can be so full with obligations, with time requirements, with pressures, with all my to-do lists that I don't have time for anything else. So I'm just using that as contrast in moments where we do feel really empty. There's a ton of space there for new. Right? So I invite you to go within, Peter, and to tune in and really find out what's the opportunity in feeling empty. What's the lesson in this? Okay, and the more you can just train your ego, your mind, just to be with and accept the state of emptiness, you can be bang on. Okay, Leah, we got one more. Press the... Okay, that's it. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Debbie, for the prayers. Excellent. All right. Hey, and that's cool, man. As a community, we can do that, Peter. I want you to know that we're all here for you, buddy. And there's a ton of like-minded individuals in this group, meaning that we are here to lift each other up. Okay, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Nobody's left behind. And so as you join pack with us, as you become part of our tribe, we're all here for you. So we're sending big love out to you, Peter. And I know Debbie is one awesome lady connected to God and awesome person of prayer too. So there's going to be a ton of great energy heading your way. Do you have a physical location or item that helps you align with your inner guru when needed? Great question. I do. It's called my body. Okay. And so, you know, for me, that's my number one reference point is my body, my being. Yeah, you know, touch, breath is a fabulous way of connecting, finding where, if we're in a stress response, where that stress is within, putting our hands on it, breathing into it, stretching with it, moving the energy. Okay, so I find that this is my number one tool in tuning into my inner guru. Okay, you can also connect with your power spot. For me, it's right here. Okay, and I can just tap into that. I can open my chest, open my energy, and it's like real quick, real quick, real quick. Okay, there's lots of other things that you can do as well energetically within your body. You can create reference points. If you do have synchronicities or ahas, you can track them. You can place them in your body energetically as reminders. So you can remember what the energetic experience, what the resonant feels like. And you just hold it in your being just to remember, and you just kind of breathe it in and take it in. And feel the vibration, feel the energy of it. And then the more you take that in and appreciate it, the more accessible it will be for you in the future. All right. Hey, guys, this has been an awesome call. Let me see. My battery's getting low. Heather Lynn asks, full can lead to overwhelm. In time, my emptiness turns to seeing a blank canvas with space for my choices. Absolutely. That's what we're speaking of. That's great. Okay. And then Leah's sending some love too. Excellent. So Peter, here you go, man. In your state of emptiness, and this is the irony in this is the paradox. I want you to get this, okay? In your connection with your inner guru, Peter, you're so authentic, right? Which is one of the first steps, is being real, right? It's not about trying to pretend that we got it all figured out, but it's being real, okay? Acknowledging what is, bringing that to community, okay? Which for Peter was, hey, I'm lost, I'm feeling empty inside. You were so courageous to bring this to community, okay? And then what happens is that people step forward and you recognize, Peter, how darn connected you are, right? In this big world with all these, 7 billion people on the planet now, you've got people reaching out for you. You've got people sending prayers your way. We're sending love and energy to you, right? And that all happened by you connecting with your emptiness, feeling it, acknowledging it, bringing it to community, and then it's filled up, okay? And so this is the paradoxical nature of healing, right? So it really is stepping into what is, okay, even if it's what we don't want, but when we step into it, when we feel it, acknowledge it, it starts to morph and change, okay? Earlier stages of healing, earlier stages of consciousness, what happens is we judge it, we feel we're wrong for having it, we think there's something wrong with us, and what happens, we push away, it becomes more and more solid, we isolate, we separate, we don't want to talk about it, and this thing just builds and builds and builds. So today was a perfect example, Peter, of how healing works and how you can really, by connecting with your emptiness, you can start to fill yourself. Okay, everybody, I think this is an awesome session. It was spontaneous, all right? And the invitation is for you to tune to your wisdom within. Go within, trust yourself as you're building these tools and resources. Okay, there is no one way or right way. It's not doing it Dr. Norm's way or Donnie Epstein's way or any of that. You can use our ideas or tools or suggestions, but at the end of the day, you've really got to take that, be an adult, okay? This is grown-up wisdom that we're offering here, and really apply it for yourself. Thank you, Rachel. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you at the show coming up. Okay, so it's about really integrating it and owning it for yourself, which I'm seeing from you people. I'm seeing you guys growing up here big time. All right, and tune in on Sunday, okay, as Arno is set to be on our program. We're going to do another Innate to Innate, which is going to be him and I being real raw and getting down to the nitty-gritty. So I'm super stoked about that. We'll put a post up to remind everybody of that interview. And we're going to be taking some questions and feedback on that call too. We didn't do that with Tom, but we're going to do that the next time, okay? I'm going to finish up with that. Love and appreciate you all. From my innate to your innate. Blessings. Be well.